Welcome, bronies, to the FOB Equestria Podcast, the official podcast of FOB Equestria, home of the military bronies. Spangle here, as per usual, and I have Michelle with me, same guy from last week. Say hi.
Hey.
And I also, I also have our commander, Firebrand, with me this week. Say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Firebrand is kind of subbing in for King due to the fact that King is at Buck, the convention in the UK. Having a very good time there, I am sure. So, I believe we're getting. Didn't he post something about that on the website? I didn't actually read that. I know that's kind of horrible to say.
I don't read a lot of things on the website either. I know, and that's horrible coming from the commander too, but...
Well, most of the time before we post anything, we at least get one other person to sign off on it. So there is some communication, but not everyone. I mean, we're all busy men, so we kind of make do with what we can, I guess. But anyway, I guess we'll get started on this thing, so we can review type of stuff. So I guess the first thing is King Harold just came online. He's been checking in periodically from Buck. And someone has music going on in the background. Who is that?
That's all locked on my phone. I'm very sorry.
No, that's fine. Okay, so music. This song wasn't actually from last week, and I guess as I mentioned these songs in order, I'll be doing small clips and editing small clips in post. But it's just so the listeners can actually get a good feel for the songs, kind of nice little preview type of thing. The song was Good Girl by, it was Living Tombstone did the acoustic music, but the vocal work was by Dasha. And I've got to say, even though this song didn't come out this week, it was sometime last week, or maybe in the week before. I lose track of time. But
It was the 9th.
It was the 9th? Okay.
The 9th, yes.
So, it was a little while back, but, we didn't talk about it. It was just... I was actually blown away by the by the quality of the song. So have either of you heard it? I think you might have been able to kind of preview it.
Well, I personally haven't heard of it.
Have you, Michelle?
Yes, I've heard it.
Okay, so what were your impressions there?
First of all, I'm not sure who was the woman who did the vocals, because I was very impressed. I haven't heard her sing ever.
Apparently,
and I was very impressed right off the bat.
Yeah, apparently she goes by Dasha. At least that's what I've gathered, and apparently this was her first pony-related music, but apparently she's a musician and she's done other music. I haven't really checked out her other stuff, but actually, yeah, that was my first impression too. Was just the vocal work by this woman was so amazingly well done. I mean, she certainly has a talent, and it actually, like, her style. I mean, and I don't mean for this to be any sort of. I guess really don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but this is really meant as a compliment. Her style reminds me a lot of Florence and the Machine. Have either of you heard of that band?
I have not.
No?
No.
Well, actually, and the only reason I know of Florence and the Machine is because of a PMV that was set to one of their songs. Probably my favorite PMV of all time. I believe it's called "And the Stars Will Aid in Her Escape," or something very close to that. And that's an old PMV. It was done by Mandarin Orange, and I mean, I think that PMV came out sometime towards the end of last year in the fall, or maybe even in the winter. So, but anyway, I digress. Definitely Dasha has a very good talent for singing, and it was a little odd to hear an acoustic style from Living Tombstone for a change, but he did it very well.
All right, I should go check that out.
That's actually the second thing I wanted to bring up is that it's definitely out of his
element,
out of his normal style.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of surprised at first. I was like, wait, is this actually Living Tombstone?
I was too. That was one of my initial reactions as well. Certainly, it was unexpected from Tombstone, definitely, and it was a pleasant surprise, certainly. So I'm not complaining at all. But actually, some people, he recently uploaded another song, which was a remix of, this one isn't on the list of topics I initially wanted to cover, but I just thought of it. He did a remix of the song called Badgers, Badgers, Badgers by, like, there's this guy on YouTube who does these ridiculous, like, flash music animation things, and like the music is completely his. He comes up with these ridiculous songs, then puts a flash animation to it, and his name is Mr. Weeble, I believe. And so some people weren't quite happy with Tombstone remixing that song. They thought he was making a mistake remixing that song or what have you, but it really wasn't that. I'm happy anytime something gets more wubs. So
I approve of these musical puns.
Yeah, but anyway, I guess moving on to the next song, I'm pretty sure this came out this week, or actually I think it got attention from Equestria Daily this week. I'm pretty sure it came out the week prior, because I saw it on my queue, because I'm subscribed to a lot of the brony musicians, including Navy, our own resident brony musician, who does want to come on this podcast at some point, but has yet been unable to. So we'll see if we can get him sometime in the future. But anyway, Rainbow Dash has a laugh attack by Mogul Dash. I'm not sure. It's just something about the song, and to be honest, I think it's just the fact that it has Rainbow Dash laughing in it, and that's what
hilarious.
I love it. It's like I'm not sure what it is about that musical style that, like, I'm not even sure how to describe that song, but it just makes me happy. So,
like, I just watch it and I just burst out laughing. It's not even like a cute laughing. It's like, oh my god, this is just hilarious. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's actually probably the musical embodiment of why I love this community so much, and why I love this show so much, because seriously, it is it just makes me happy. I mean, that's kind of like the whole point of, I think that's why most of us are into this community and the show, is just because we like some joy in our life. So, but and there was another song. Yeah, I have about a couple songs. So Simgratina, another brony art musician I am quite familiar with. Definitely his style, he's got his own unique style, definitely. If there's a Simgratina song playing, I can recognize it's him. He certainly has that unique sound, which I think is really important. Definitely, having that identifying sound that can make you stand out in all the white noise, because there are plenty of, like, I don't mean to demean any of the brony musicians at all. Hey, if you love it, keep doing it. But there are a lot of them that don't have their own distinct sound, so they kind of just get lost in the noise. But Simgratina came out with a remix of his remix, I guess you could say. So last week we talked about the Rina-Chan Brushie, Colgate video, and then how, certain how like the brony community got their hands on it, and within like 24 hours there was like already several remixes, and two of the ones we talked about were Living Tombstones and Sim Gratinas. Well, he did a remix of that, and it's called because his original remix was called Inspector Brushie, which was set basically kind of took the general sound of the Inspector Gadget theme song and put it to that, and then he remixed that and he called this one Inspector Brushie versus Cavity or Dr. Cavity, something along those lines. And I actually enjoyed it more than the original, which I'm pretty sure that's what, Sim Gratina was going for. So
that's what I love about this community. It's just one thing. It's just when something strange or bizarre comes out from like a popular figure in the community, everyone in the community knows about it. Everyone in the community latches onto it, and everyone in the community creates something with it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. I mean, PMV remixes, what have you. I mean, that's just with music and
Twilightlicious.
Twilightlicious. Oh, you just reminded me of something. I was checking out Tara Strong's Twitter feed, which I actually never really do. I think this week was the first time I've ever actually checked out her Twitter feed. And she posted...
I am raising my eyebrow at you right now.
She... Why would you do that? What are you inferring, good sir?
Continue.
But anyway, she had this... There was a picture drawn of her, and it's like, have you seen the Twilightlicious ones? Like the Twilightlicious pictures where she's got all the bling and stuff?
I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone drew a version of that, but instead of Twilight, it's Tara, and she's like got like I don't even know what she's like acting all like Tara-licious or whatever you want to call it, and it was an interesting picture, which if the listeners are actually watching the YouTube video, they'll see the image as I've been talking about it, so good for them. But then the last piece of music that really came up this week that caught my attention was Lost on the Moon, which was a collaboration between Wooden Toaster or Glaze, depending on what you prefer to address him as, and then Living Tombstone and Rina-Chan.
Goes like when you're stuck on a mountain, you try to go up, you try to go down, you turn around to face the wall so you can face yourself, realizing you made a mistake. And you are being stuck on the moon like the rest of us, trying to make sense of it, crying cause we don't have any reason. We're alone together cause we all share the very same crime. Some will say that this is not gonna last long, some will say that if we try we can't go wrong. As time goes on, we are not leaving this place, cause when we all come back we lose our track of time and space.
Don't get me wrong, I love the song, but it really reminded me a lot of two of Tombstone's previous songs, which were the first one was Cracks, but then which wasn't a pony song, at least to the best of my knowledge, and from what I could gather from the lyrics, it's not a pony song. It's just a song that the Living Tombstone did previously. But the other song it really reminded me of is Stuck in Time by Living Tombstone as well. And I think the reason it reminded me so much of them was, I think it was just the general overall tone. All of them kind of have a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Somber tone. So it's definitely something you don't see as often from this community, but you do see, and especially if you see it, a lot of the times it does involve Luna.
Yeah, well, the thing is about there's a lot of things about My Little Pony as a show that is in fact very somber. Is in fact it's and that's really up to the community to bring these things to light, like the issues of This issue of Celestia's immortality is one thing that a lot of community members try to bring to light. It's like she's immortal and nobody else is, and is it a blessing to be immortal, or is it a curse?
Right. And I've actually talked with some friends on that before. We had that whole discussion of, you know, if you could live forever, I guess, would you? And, you know, we went on to that whole discussion. And I don't know if that's a decision anyone would really ever be prepared to make. But then the other flip side of that was, well, what would you do if you lived forever but you could still die? Would you eventually end up taking your own life? Or, you know, it gets into some pretty heavy stuff sometimes, you know? So, I mean, I guess anyone who says bronies don't have deep conversations, I refute. But
Yeah, just look at the two princesses and a lot of the fan fiction that's come up, and
yeah.
whatever.
Daylight Burning, speaking of fan fiction, which I finished that review, which, you know, that's just waiting for the right time to be posted up. That was hard to get into, especially because it starts out very dark, very, you know, very. It's not a pleasant story to start off reading, and to be honest, because of the dark tags, you're never sure if the author's gonna pull that unexpected wild card and say, "Hey, the good guys don't win, and they all died, and now it's a sad ending." Because, I mean, the dark tag kind of makes you expect that. So throughout the whole story, you're asking yourself whether or not they're actually going to win, which I guess makes for a very compelling story. Definitely.
But I actually kind of admire things that do that. I'm not always in for like grim dark, but I do actually like, you know, sometimes the bad guys can win a battle here or two. You know, just because it's not a happy ending doesn't mean it's not a good ending. And I think that is the key, to try to find that balance to make it a good ending.
It's like earlier in my life, I usually had a philosophy about what usually made a good story was, when I was young, I always wanted it to have a happy ending, but then when I got older, I realized that isn't good. It's like the happy ending doesn't necessarily mean a good ending, but it's like now I realize that good must triumph over evil, or at least if evil triumphs over good, there's an underlying message to it.
Yeah. I agree with that sentiment. So, definitely, I will say this for Daylight Burning. There were some gripes early on about it, but it did get better as I read it. The author definitely improved on his style, and the ending was good. And the reason I thought it was good more than anything else is it gave you closure. It didn't leave any of those, you know, open-ended things that basically, and I hate this so much, is when a story leaves you at the end of it, and it just leaves unanswered questions and, you know, kind of doesn't finish. And it, you know, some people are like, oh, that's an artistic style of, you know, kind of leaving it up to the reader's imagination, but I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I want closure. Seriously.
Well, I think there's a difference between leaving you to draw your own conclusion and just not answering questions.
Just being vague.
Like, there's one thing if, you know, like, for example, the main character has a terminal illness, and you don't know if they're going to die or not. And at the very end, they just walk off into the distance. To me, I think that's kind of like a good sense of closure, in that you create your own ending on whether they will survive or die. But, like, you know, if at the end the main character falls off a cliff and he's never seen again, it's like, well, you know, the bad guy was beaten, but now you really don't know if the good guy survived or not, and it's kind of, that's
right.
That I think aren't proper.
Yeah. And actually, the Daylight Burning kind of did leave something to your imagination at the end, but it wasn't that it's like you said, it was done well enough to where it wasn't leaving unanswered questions. It was just one of those things. But I guess now we move on to the games. Two games that the subject of games was, there was this one that there was a preview put on Equestria Daily, which didn't really, it gave me the impression the game wasn't finished. But then when I went to go check it out, it turned out there was a playable version of the game available. I don't know whether or not it's according to the site that I found it on, it is finished. And it's called TWALAGHT SPARKUHLZ Revenge, and it's spelled very weird. But it's kind of like it's one of those games where you're a stationary person and you have weapons that you can upgrade, and you have to defeat incoming waves of enemies. One of those. I'm not sure what the actual title for those types of games are, but this one, the one complaint I had about this game is there's no music or sound effects at all. So I guess if you go play it, you should have your own music ready to play in the background. Otherwise, you're probably going to get bored. Just
Lots of wubs.
Yeah, lots of wubs indeed. The preview had lots of wubs. And I will admit, the game is challenging, and it's fun, especially once you get past the first part and you start getting the awesome upgrades and the awesome abilities. But it is certainly challenging. If you have no idea what you're doing, expect to lose, especially by wave 10. It's just almost guaranteed. So at least it was for me. I might just be bad at video games. We'll see.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Yeah, probably, always blame it on the player. It's the player, not the game. Wait, doesn't that normally go the other way around? Whatever.
Nope. Not with your case.
Not with my case. But the other topic on the subject of video games was the new Lunar Republic mod for Civ 5 came out.
I have played that. It is awesome.
Is it now? From what I gathered, it basically functioned really well if you liked being a naval power.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I don't like being a naval power. I hate ships in every single strategy game I play. It's like whenever I play Civ 5, I'm always playing the land, so I pretty much play a Celestia instead.
Yeah, and this was by the same guy who came out with the Equestria mod. So now you have the option to play as Luna or Celestia. And to be honest, I would like to see more pony in these mods.
But I'm still waiting for the Discord mod. That one's going to be fun.
Is that just your speculation on there's going to be one, or has the guy actually said he's going to make one?
I haven't checked that, but I do not doubt that thing will eventually exist.
Chocolate Rain! Defeat your opponents with chaos.
So now I actually have an excuse to kill all my enemies, because when I played Celestia on Civ 5, I was a rather
diplomatic.
I was rather violent.
Yeah. See, I've always played Civ 5 as I'm going to win by annihilating you. Like, military victory was the only box I checked. But when I started playing the Equestria and New Lunar Republic mods, I was like, check diplomacy because, I don't feel right.
Culture victory or science victory?
Yeah.
Because love and tolerance. Why can't we just not fight each other and win by other means?
Win by other means. Although military means are easiest.
Tolerate when you can nuke the enemy city.
That is certainly my philosophy at times, and definitely the philosophy of one of my friends who plays that game. But
and seriously, it's like love and tolerating in Civ 5 does not go very well. It's like every time I try and make peace with people in Civ 5, and I was Celestia, mind you. Every time I tried to make peace with people, I was trying to be nice. I was giving people gifts. All of a sudden, Napoleon just comes up and says, "I want to go to war with you." I'm like, "Screw you! I'm conquering everybody."
Screw you all. It's like screw love and tolerance. I tried. I tried. So I guess we'll move on to the topic of videos. So there was this Flash video that came out on DA. I found it through Equestria Daily, is where I find most of my things, because, I mean, Equestria Daily really is a good hub. The only time I usually don't find things on Equestria Daily is when it's someone I'm subscribed to on YouTube and I catch it before they do, but most of the time, you know, they get it. And it was called, anyway, the flash was called Cerulean Sky, and it was basically kind of a flat, it was a video basically about, it was a throwback to the Cutie Mark Chronicles with Rainbow Dash and the whole, you know, Sonic Rainboom and all that. And so it's basically this video. It's not very fluid animation. It's kind of like a picture show almost, but it is artistically well done, in my opinion. And so it's Rainbow Dash flying around, and she basically performs a Sonic Rainboom, and all her friends are preoccupied doing things, and they kind of, there's many mishaps that occur because of this Sonic Rainboom, and it's actually, the video made me very happy, actually. I loved it. It made me smile. A smile so large. Just like Pinky when she saw the Sonic Rainboom. So, did you get a chance to catch that flash, Michelle?
Yes, I actually did. I thought it was wonderful. I'm trying to remember trying to describe how I felt. It was kind of very like a peaceful, kind of fleeting feeling.
Yes.
At first, because, you know, it's just her flying around, and the art it's beautiful. It was the drawing was just it was really nice, and the music was fitting as well. And then it kind of moves on, and it takes on a more amusing tone when you actually get into the other characters and
yes,
what happens to them after the Sonic Rainboom. I thought that it was a good end. It kind of have like an evolution to the actual kind of story it's telling.
Yeah, it was definitely a great video, and like I said, I think you described it very well. It was one of those kind of, you know, it made you feel nice and calm, and then it filled you with laughter, and it was one of those nice things. I feel good feelings type of things. But and continuing on that subject, Double Rainboom promo number 2. So Double Rainboom, for those of you unaware, is kind of been promoting itself as the first entirely fan written and produced episode. I'm not entirely sure exactly what the storyline will take, but it looks really interesting. They've gotten several animators on the project. They're working very diligently. Yes, they do. They have a huge team going for this thing. So I think they're promoting themselves very well in terms of, like, it's a very accurate statement to say they're going to be the first fan-made episode, because at this rate it's looking like they are. And I mean, you could argue that there's like Friendship is Witchcraft and everything, but that is using animations from the show, and it's not completely fan-made. It is using, you know, stuff from the show. But the number 2 promo, the first promo, had kind of Twilight Sparkle mixing up some things, and it was very good animation. It was, you know, something to kind of whet our appetite on and say, oh, this is going to be good. But the number 2 promo basically showed a lot of the submissions they got from animators, which that was interesting. Definitely some funny animations, and you know, you see these submissions and you see the quality and talent that some of these animators have, that they have on their team, and it just, I'm sorry,
the amount of time it takes to do that.
And that's why they have several animators. Because we all know how long Picture Perfect Pony took. I mean, what did the guy say? Like 3, I can't remember the exact time, but it was an incredibly long amount of time for just that one person to animate all of Picture Perfect Pony. So
it's actually I used to do Flash a little bit, but I kind of fell out of practice and more in favor of Photoshop, just because it usually doesn't take as long. But Flash animation, especially the way they do it with ponies, it takes so long.
Yeah. So I think they're glad to have a lot of people on board, but
I I regretfully not regretfully, haven't seen a single promo because I am the type who really just doesn't like to be spoiled for anything. It's why I haven't seen any of the songs for season 3. I haven't seen anything because I force myself not to see anything because I just hate being spoiled.
Yeah, did you not go to No, I know you went to BronyCon, right, Josh?
Yeah, I went to BronyCon, but
You didn't see the double Rainboom little section?
No, because I didn't want to see it. I didn't.
Hear that, guys? Firebrand does not like to be told what's happening. He likes to see things fresh.
I like to be surprised.
Yes.
Okay, I'll surprise you. It's about a double Sonic Rainboom.
I'm actually intrigued by the concept, but...
Back on track.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reenacted by ponies.
Oh my god. That was amazing.
It was hilarious.
That's all I could say. That was so awesome. It was a serious throwback to my days of Yu-Gi-Oh! It was so well made.
It was. Yeah, it definitely was. And
Pinky Kaiba.
Pinky Kaiba. No, and yeah, it was.
It should have been called Pin Kaiba or something.
Maybe. There's always gonna be criticism, and in my opinion, there's always room for improvement.
Pinky Kaiba.
Pinky Kaiba.
It doesn't really have a ring to it.
No, it doesn't. But they did call Twilight, Yugi Sparkle. That's what they called her. And also,
after I saw that, I went back and watched the episode that was based on, and I watched it, and I'm like, wow, this show isn't as good as I remember it.
Yeah,
it's like that's like a lot of shows from my childhood really haven't held up. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, even Digimon, they really haven't held up.
No. Digimon, yeah.
Digimon back in the day.
The puns were horrible.
I don't know if we have that much room to talk, considering the level of puns in My Little Pony.
But they're awesome puns.
Hey, there are still groan-inducing puns in My Little Pony.
Hey. When Twilight Sparkle goes to speak to a crowd and she gets up on a soapbox, that is a great pun.
Yes,
I don't care what anyone says.
He's talking about pony puns, aren't you, Firebrand?
Are you hungry? As a horse. I wanted to puke.
I've embraced those puns so much. And actually, I guess while we're talking about ponies and puns and ponies making bad puns, I don't know if we've ever heard who is your favorite pony. Who is best pony in your opinion, Firebrand?
Oh no, he knows who best pony is.
I do.
Yep.
Really?
I'm gonna have to say my favorite pony is Rarity.
Really?
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, Rarity. I love how dramatic and passionate she is. It's like her humor comes from her dramatic personality, how she over exaggerates everything. It's like this is especially seen in the the Lesson 0 episode where she freaks out over how she lost her diamond encrusted ribbon. It's like there's just a little like theater subtleties. It's like I was in theater for a little bit, and there's just if you're in theater, there's just little things that you pick up with Rarity. And I think one of my favorite episodes with her was the Dog and Pony show, the one with the diamond dogs.
Oh, God.
How
so great.
She trolled the dogs like a pro.
Yeah.
Oh, that definitely is Rarity's strongest moment in the show. Like, no offense to any bronies in other countries, but I've seen that in at least 10 different languages. None of them, I think Spanish was the closest one, but none of them could capture the same like emotion that Tabitha actually could get. And I think one of the ways that Rarity can actually pull off this level of depth is Tabitha.
Yeah.
It's like,
blows
also,
me
I love
away.
it's like, I love how passionate she is about her work. It's like especially during like the art of the dress episode. It's I've gone through that. It wasn't with clothes. It was with music. But it's like I felt her pain. It's like Rarity. I feel a lot of her pain. It's like I go through a ton of the things she goes through, and I think that's really why she's my favorite pony, because I relate a lot to her. It's like I enjoy being the center of attention sometimes, and I work really hard. It's like I'm constantly daydreaming about what my next artistic project is going to be.
Yeah, it's
yeah. That's my opinion of Rarity.
I definitely relate to that as well. Oh my, so much of my time is off thinking about this, that, and the other project I want to get done, but it's always frustrating too, because since we're all working military men, it's like you get an idea for a project, and that project, which you would like to get done in a couple days, ends up taking a couple weeks, and hey, that's not even
I'm talking about myself.
I know.
That's me. How long have I been trying to work on your guys' OCs?
Well, I see, and that wasn't even meant as a jab at you. That was just.
Oh no, I was jabbing at myself.
Okay.
Another reason that I relate to Rarity is, especially when the Sisterhood Social episode came around, it's like I just saw myself in Rarity's shoes, and I saw me and my little brother. It's like, and it really got me thinking about, like, it's like I've been thinking about my past and like how much I pretty much failed as an older brother. To be quite frank. And lately I've been trying to repair my relationship with my little brother. It's like I've been trying to do the kinds of things that he wants to do. I feel I'm doing a good job right now. It's like if I didn't see that episode, I probably would have gone through my life just thinking that my little brother was a twerp.
Yeah, I think the show has made a lot of us, better people in general. Which is kind of awesome when you think about it. That a show has done that for so many people.
Oh, that's special to me.
Really?
Yes.
But anyway, I guess we've gotten a little off topic. I mean, if you want to elaborate more, Michelle, you're definitely free to.
Sure. I'll do it just for a little bit. But basically, I was going through like a really big rut in my life, and got a little bit depressed. And I saw ponies, and long story short is I get very, very, very into the things that I do, and I kind of have a very chameleon-like personality. So I kind of engrossed myself in ponies, and I kind of absorbed those emotions. So it actually elevated my spirits, and that's one of the reasons I love being in the brony community so much, because it doesn't matter, like how bad my day was. When I come back, I can feed off of the positive, emotions that everyone else has towards each other. I mean, like when I went to BronyCon, it had been the happiest 2 days of my life. It's just you walk up to random strangers and you're immediately friends with them. You can just walk up and be like, "Hey, who's your favorite pony?" And then bam, like just like awesome conversations just starts off like right there.
That is pretty awesome about this community, and that is one of the things I love. But the one thing, I'm not gonna lie, the one thing I thought of when you were talking about that was, you're a changeling.
Oh, changeling conspiracy.
Maybe I am.
It's like, that's what I love about the changelings in general. It's like before, people used to, before the season 2 finale, people used to poke fun. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many clones of ponies. It's like the animators are so lazy. Then after that episode, they're all changelings. They're all changelings.
Pretty much, and again, that goes out to this community, just how much fun they can be, in general.
Yeah, it's like the changelings are a great plot hole mender if you think about it.
Yeah, they really are. But I guess digressing back to the videos subject, There was one more thing I want to talk about is, okay, are you guys familiar with Tobuscus or Toby Turner or, famous YouTube personality?
Mysterious hooded man looks off
Yes.
at a distance. Yes, I'm familiar with Tobuscus.
Yes. How about you, Michelle?
I'm gonna go out a long shot. The Happy Wheels guy.
Yes.
He does Happy Wheels. Yeah.
Well, he does he does a lot of things. He does a lot of games.
Well, I know him. I know him from Happy Wheels. That's what I watch.
And so he played a brony level in Happy Wheels, actually, and there was so much hate, so much hate in the comments, and there's like this flame war going on between bronies and haters, and it was just and I knew it was coming too. I looked down in the comments fully expecting it, and they did not disappoint.
Well, like, I looked at the like bar.
Yeah.
The last time I saw it, and it was like unanimously liked, but I don't know. I was kind of like, when I saw it, I was expecting like this giant like Happy Wheels level, and I saw it and it had like 4 or 4.5 stars. So I'm like, oh yeah, this must be really good. And I noticed it's just your character is Applejack, and you're like kicking apples in, and I was like, wait. It's not that big of a deal why anybody would really like hate this at all. It's not even like that like in depth. It's just like this little kind of level that somebody made. It's not much to it. There's no real big reason to hate.
Nope, no reason to hate at all. But haters and trolls, man, it's what made us strong, and it's what at least that's what I think.
Yeah, I still get them on my YouTube channel all the time. It's like I do my normal videos, but whenever I do an MLP episodic review, it's like I always get the the haters. It's like you can pretty much anticipate when they're come. You can anticipate the backlash.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you have to expect. As a brony, you have to expect there's going to be haters and trolls, and as the saying goes, don't feed the parasprites. But
yeah, it's become so routine. It's become so routine that I just shrug it off now.
Most bronies do. At least the more more
love and tolerating.
I don't want to use the word mature but the more
rational.
Well, not even rational. I think the bronies who have been a part of the community for a longer period of time and have more become what this community embodies, the more wise and the more it's hard to use a word that isn't like mature or grown up, or but you know what I'm saying. The bronies who have really grown in this community and actually been a part of this community for a longer period of time and have really embraced the values of this community are the ones who really do love and tolerate everything and really don't feed the parasprites. So I guess the longer you're a brony and the more you're immersed in the community, the more you become what bronies are supposed to be. But even that's what I've heard some people say. They're like, oh, the brony community, there are the people in here who are, it's going to tear itself apart because, even in the brony community, there are haters. And, there are, but they're the young bronies, I guess. And I'm not talking about age again. I'm talking about in terms of how long they've been a brony. But it's one of those. I think the brony community is as strong as it's ever been, and it's in no danger of tearing itself apart, to be honest. What was that evil laugh for?
It's not even close to being torn apart.
No.
Bronies are just getting started.
Oh yeah. If we're gonna tear ourselves apart, it's gonna be years down the road.
Time.
It's like season 8 probably.
Maybe season 8. We'll see what happens. But on the subject of love, tolerance, and haters and trolls, Mass Effect 3 posted a pony picture, and the haters went to town.
Well, for one, I haven't even seen the pony picture.
I have.
Because I'm subscribed or liked to BioWare, and I was looking through my feed, and it's like, oh, disappointment and, splitting apart the community for this picture. And I'm trying to find the picture. Like, I'm like, if it's just Pinkie Pie in the, I think it's N7 armor, I
Yep.
don't understand what the big deal about that would be. But apparently, like, people were like blowing up the forums in hatred about Pinkie Pie in N7 armor.
But yeah, it was ridiculous. But I'm proud of BioWare. They stood their ground and said, hey, we're gonna support the artistic community, and they didn't back down. They didn't take down the picture. And from the sound of it, they said, you know what, there might even be more pony themed Mass Effect pictures in the future, which I've seen my fair share of. There's quite a few out there, actually.
There's pony related pictures of everything.
Because we take over everything. We are an unstoppable force of nature. And you want to know what the funny part is? We don't even try. Like, this world domination thing, it's not we aren't trying. It's just happening. But I was definitely proud of BioWare.
Accept my new pony overlords.
Yeah, really. But, BioWare basically said it was a fact of, it's good art, it's art appreciation, and we're going to, we aren't going to just close off anything due to the fact of it because it's My Little Pony related. They're like, it's great art, we're going to embrace every artist in our community, and we're not going to discriminate. And I was like, way to love and tolerate, BioWare, way to do that. Because they could have easily just taken the backlash and said, taken it down and kind of tried to cover up the whole thing, in which, there's been people who've done that. But
yeah, the thing is, what I love about BioWare is how much they take their fans into consideration. It's like BioWare is a pretty good company. Shame they're working for EA.
Yeah. Everyone kind of hates EA, I've noticed, and
It was rated the most evil company in the world.
Which I personally think is stupid. Really, EA?
No,
EA is just a stupid company. They're not evil.
I agree with Firebrand.
Oh yeah, I think I have to agree with that as well.
Stupid, not evil, but yeah.
But I think one of the things is like they're not even subtle about it. Like, for example, Activision. I think Activision has a little bit of a degree of subtlety. They do. EA just like jumps out and screams, "I'm in it for the money."
Yeah.
When they bashed Steam, they're like, "Oh, we'll never have sales like Steam because selling games for like 80% off." I forget the verbiage they use, but they're like, "Oh, that's not doing it for the developers." I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I love Game Noodle's rebuttal. He said, "If it wasn't profitable, we wouldn't do it."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, if you always sell a game for like 75% off, everyone is just going to wait until it's 75% off until they buy it. And then Gabe turns around and he's like, well, that's not the case, because we see like a lot of sales on the initial launch up until the 75% off. You see a spike and then it just goes right back to normal.
Yeah. And actually, I think that's a fair thing, because first of all, people can never anticipate what games are going to get those discounts, when they're going to get those discounts, and people are impatient. And
yes. Also, going back to Activision, it's I've just been thinking, what bad have they done lately?
Well, the thing that they do that I don't like is they've been closing out a lot. Like, they'll buy up companies, they'll use them to churn out titles, and if they can't consistently turn out like really, really high profit titles, they will close the studio.
Yeah.
They used to do that. They did that with like Neversoft.
No, they still do that.
I haven't seen that happen.
They just did it. They just there was a game company that just released something. I thought it was a good game, but it didn't sell like. Oh, it was a prototype developer.
Really?
Prototype 2 did not sell up to Activision standards, so they cut like a good 75% of the team, and now they're just in a strictly supporting role for the really, really big developers.
Well, I guess that's what you get when you sell your soul to Activision.
Yeah.
Activision Activision is lawful evil.
Lawful evil.
Yep.
Yeah, and EA is chaotic. EA is chaotic stupid.
Yeah. Oh man. But I guess we can move on to the next subject, which teddy bears. Apparently, they can defeat oppressive dictators and generals. Yeah. Did you catch that link, Firebrand? We were talking about this earlier.
I caught that link. That was epic.
So, yeah, I mean, really, so I believe I'm saying the name of the country right. Belarus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically believed to be like the last stronghold of dictatorship and oppressive regime in Europe. Basically, who was it? What was the country that supposedly did this? Like allegedly did this?
Hold on one second.
But while he looks that up, basically, so it wasn't actually, from what I gathered, it wasn't any sort of military or government operation by the country, but they basically airdropped Sweden. Why am I not surprised? But like, allegedly, it was some human rights group airdropped thousands, if I recall correctly, thousands of teddy bears across Belarus with all these messages of human rights and love and all this stuff. And because this got through Belarus's airspace, and like this happened, like I think it was like 2 of their top generals got the boot. And
keep going.
But I mean, like, seriously, when I read the story, I'm like, this is the biggest example of love and tolerance I have ever seen. And it defeated generals of a dictatorship country. How? I couldn't believe it.
I think the background story to that is one of the generals had designed their air defense system, and he touted around how it would be impenetrable, and then just these two random civilians, these 2 random civilians from Sweden were we need to get rid of this dictator, we're gonna do it peacefully. And then they got a pilot's license. I think they either bought or rented a plane, and they just dropped paratrooper teddy bears all over Belarus.
It's hilarious, and I love it. Just some faith in humanity has been restored, as the saying goes.
Oh yeah, Spanko, you need to tell your Air Force buddies. It's like, hey, we shouldn't drop bombs anymore. We should drop teddy bears.
Drop Pinkie Pies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh God.
Pinkie Pies and Twilight Sparkles.
We've talked about this a little, but I'm all for love and tolerance until you're threatening the rights or lives of other people, in which case your life might become forfeit.
Aww.
Seriously, bad guys in cave, drop bomb. Problem solved. They don't want to talk. They just want to shoot you. And hey, that's all I have to say on that subject. Yeah, it's definitely, but like I said, I'm all for peaceful means, but there are just times where military action is required, unfortunately. But there are, as much as we like to believe in the good of humanity, there are evil people in the world that threaten the lives of other people, and they can't be reasoned with. We try to reason with them, we give them options, but, war is, as it stands in our world today, war is kind of one of those necessary evils. As long as there are evil people in the world that are taking the lives of others, we need people that are willing to defend those lives and, if necessary, take the lives of those people who are threatening the lives of other people. So I guess, yeah. But I mean, I've pretty much talked about everything I want to talk about. How about you guys? Any thoughts on anything we brought up, or any thoughts in general?
I'm trying to think.
So
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, so I guess actually something did come to mind for me. T-shirt and logo contest. Firebrand, you kind of announced this on your channel to an extent. And we're working out a lot of the details with this right now. Considering we actually want to make this a shirt and sell this shirt, there's some, loopholes. I mean, there's some hoops. That's the word I'm looking for. There's some hoops we have to make sure we jump through, some things we have to take care of. But
Are any of them on fire?
What was that?
Are any of them on fire?
Potentially. But we have contacted We Love Fine. We'll probably get a response sometime Monday. Basically, that should take care of a lot of the issues with the T-shirt design. And in terms of the logo, we'll see. But Firebrand, you have anything to announce on that contest? Anything we really got nailed down? I mean, you've got a better feel for it than any of us.
It's a simple contest. We're taking submissions. We're offering cash prizes, and that's
pretty much it.
Pretty much it. We just want something military. We just want something military brony related. Something that symbolizes our mission and what we stand for, and obviously something that looks cool.
Yeah, and it's about that time for you, Michelle.
Yeah, I'd say something that kind of represents who we are. Say like a logo or, like a simple T-shirt design, something that we can, stand proud and wear.
Yeah, and there is a post in the works on it. I think it's just going through final revisions, but it should be up on our site shortly enough once we get all the details worked out. And like I said, it's I'm pretty sure it's about that time for you, Michelle. I don't want you to get in trouble. Go take care of what you got to do. And
I got like another 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I think we're just about ready to wrap this up then. So I guess
right.
timing went perfect. So I'm glad you could be with us for the whole duration, Michelle.
Yep, I'm glad I could stay.
Yeah. I'm sad for you that your situation is what it is right now.
Yes.
But just one of those things. We all know how it works in the military. So anyway, I guess that we talked about a lot of things, and as per usual, everything that we talked about will be in the description and post. I'm basically going to make sure everything is available for our listeners. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, like through the embed, just click that YouTube link and go in the description. You'll find all the links there. And I guess it's time to say our goodbyes. So I guess you go have your turn, gentlemen.
All right, I'm Commander Firebrand, saying Semper Philly.
And this is Michelle saying fair winds, following seas for the day. Yeah.
And this is Spangle, and I guess that about covers it for this week. Just clear up some confusion. This is not a live podcast currently. This is all recorded, and so don't worry. Don't think you missed anything. But this will be uploaded, continue to be uploaded weekly. So join us again next week, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that about covers it. I hope you enjoyed listening, and Semper Philly.